Some people may have, I don't see a little purple bunny hopping around, but some of our people have, they've got little people they talk to, and they know they're not real.
Right.
And they're non-threatening, because did your dad have that?
He did. Or he did for a while see people, and then he just saw things, and he sort of felt like people were after him sometimes. But he also he would see things that seemed like a plane crash, and he was trying to save people and no one was helping him, and he didn't understand why people wouldn't help him. Or he'd see things in the bushes. He would think he saw animals in the bushes, and just things that looked odd, and he knew he thought they were unusual, but he also would see people too. So
These shadows, like it's not a detailed, like I'll see something and like a mouse or something, or a bug, and I have to go over there and check, but there's nothing there. I think the one very detailed thing that I had is, I was babysitting a couple of weeks, or helped my daughter-in-law watch her children, and I was taking my little granddaughter out to swing, and I opened the door. I looked at my hand, and my hand was full of fire ants, and I go,
oh wow,
that's weird. So I went back to the door, and there was nothing on it. There was nothing on the door. So the fire ants just went away. But anyway,
but so they were a hallucination then, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really the only thing I've had audible where I heard my son when he was a young man, down in the lower part of the house talking. I think I've had the other senses, but I haven't had in these big grand, I forgot what you call them.
Like delusions, or you don't tend to have delusional thinking? Like my dad and your wife might say otherwise.
Yeah, I have 3 caregivers, and 2 of them are my daughters and 1 is my wife. The sons, no way. But I bounce things off of them, because I realize that my optic is not probably the same optic that they have. But.
And do you have any visual problems just in general with your eyes? Do you have like glaucoma? I see you have glasses on, but you're just nearsighted or farsighted, or do you have depth perception issues?
Yeah, it's just these are bifocals. So it's just normal. No, I'm good there. And you knew what I meant by optic.
Yes, yes.
Sorry, I don't want
to. No, I know. But more depth perception, or seeing things that aren't there, or just perception things, I guess, more than anything is what you mean.
Well, I'm sorry. Now you're trying to have me amplify what I was talking about. That's not the words, but I understand.
Yeah.
Well, making a decision. Should I do this? Should I go? I wanted to do the through hike of the Appalachian Trail a couple of years ago. And when my wife saw me really doing detailed planning, she sat down with me and said, Jim, there's no way in hell I'm letting you do that. Okay.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm a very adventurous person. Um,
I know
and
that.
yeah, and I wasn't going to do it by myself. I had created a list of probably 40 people that I was hoping my daughters would schedule, and they rotate out so that there'd be always somebody with me for a
Mhm.
certain section of time that they would be able, uh, stuff like that.
Mhm.
All my weapons have been taken from me, which I've always had weapons, but
Mhm.
I knew that eventually was going to happen, but
Right.
they're gone.
Mhm.
I stopped driving about 5 years ago, but I did that to myself because I had three instances in one day or two.
Like
I
what
don't
kind of
know.
instances? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. One was about a month or two before, and I was parked on a incline, and I put it in gear and just let it roll back, and I backed into an old abandoned car. It's like, and so I left a note, but it was
Mhm.
definitely in an abandoned car. But that was a warning to me because I've been trained in skilled driving,
Mhm. Right.
and then later on, I was driving in the center. There's a center. I don't know what they call them, a
Like a
turning lane.
turn lane? Mhm.
Yeah. So I was in there to turn into a bunch of stores, and there was a guy coming head on to me, and I didn't
Mhm.
even see it. He saw me keep going, and his eyes are this big. So I had to go into the incoming traffic to get out of the way
Uh-huh.
because I guess the turn lane changed or something.
Uh-huh.
And then that I had to go pick up a prescription. I just about ran somebody off the uh, the traffic circle.
Oh my.
So that day, I gave my keys to Lynn and said,
Huh?
done. And that I really
Yeah.
miss driving, but I have to rely on her or other people, and
Mhm.
it's, the deal, blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah.
Right. Well, you seem very, um, I suspect you're not necessarily, but you seem very easygoing and fairly even tempered. What sorts of troubles and problems do you I know your wife would probably say otherwise, but like what sorts of things are frustrations to you still? And then what would she say are her frustrations?
Well, she moved out. She couldn't deal with me anymore.
Hmm.
Um, my whole life's been
So you must be a
uh,
little difficult.
violent, and she
Hmm.
she's been given books by you guys at
Hmm.
that conference, and
Right.
as far as I know, she hasn't read them because she's afraid.
Hmm.
And so she would say things that would trigger me, not wife husband things, but things that would trigger a dementia person's, that, like, don't you remember, didn't you
Hmm.
remember to do this? And
Hmm.
Lynn, I don't remember. And then there'd be a
Hmm.
big fight or something, and she'd had
Hmm.
enough. So she's only five
Yeah.
minutes away, and she's here probably about three times a day.
Okay.
Uh, but what I have, my neurologist said I have dis.
Disassociative or something?
No,
Dyskinesia?
when you get drunk, you lose your inhibition.
Yeah.
Disin
Oh,
disinhibition. So I will cross the line a
yeah.
lot.
You're disinhibited.
Disinhibited. I will cross the line a lot,
Hmm.
and I really try to watch
Hmm.
out for that. Like I will be somewhere and I'll slam my fist on the table, or I'll do something or say something that's just way over the line, and
Mhm.
that's a difficulty. But
Yeah.
I do have, as you said, I do have a calmness too. That's just one
Mhm.
of the things. I don't know if it's the bipolar, because I know
Mhm.
that this thing will affect both my PTSD,
Mhm.
and I have very mild bipolar,
Mhm.
that it can amplify these things.
Right.
But oh yeah, there's
Mhm. And how about decision making? Do you have trouble making decisions?
if there's too many, a case in point, if my wife will name off a bunch of restaurants to go eat at, I said,
Mhm.
I will tell her, you just pick one because it's just too much for me to
Right.
process.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, here's something else at work that was a key. This was really early on, and I told my neurologist this and doctors, so I want to share it with you.
Good.
Funny, but it's really I think a good marker.
Uh-huh.
I don't like it when the paper towel dispenser has no paper in it. The one that has the roll and all that, and
Right.
people don't fill it or whatever.
Mhm.
So I was able to fill it. Feed it through all its little wheels,
Right.
and it came out fine. I kid you not, 10 feet away, 10 seconds, the same thing, and I could not figure it. I could not figure it out. I stood there 10 minutes trying to make it work, and pretty soon I got embarrassed and I just had to
Mhm.
walk out before somebody walked in.
Yeah.
How I turn around, so I did a 180, 10
Mhm.
feet, 10 seconds, and I don't know how to do it.
And that's amazing. And I know that my dad experienced that, where he knew he should know how to do it. He knew. I still remember when we gave him a new cell phone, and he knew it could take a picture. He knew he knew all the things the cell phone could do. He knew he could look things up on the internet. He knew what all it could do, but then he couldn't. And my dad used to taught himself how to program computers, but he got to where he knew what he knew, but he couldn't do it.
Yeah,
It's very odd.
it
It's
is.
I tell people it's more of a thinking dementia instead of a memory dementia. It's like you do remember what you can do and know the process of how it all works, but then actually doing it, it's it, it, it's not there. Um, it's
And
odd.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, I was done.
Here's another very embarrassing but poignant point. My index cards for finding words
Hmm.
is now I can't even think the word that is. I'm a pretty intelligent guy and I can't even remember.
But see,
My
I know
index
I can see
card
that though, because you
is
still have a fabulous vocabulary.
my index card for words is discombobulated. That's not the word I was looking for, but it's
Similar.
so. But
Disorganized. Yeah.
I cannot pull up stuff or lose.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Hmm.
uh, a year ago, I'm an Apple guy, so there was something with my phone. So I forgot that there was an app on there to call that you can get hold of Apple customer service.
Hmm.
I mean, it's in the phone.
Right.
So instead of that, I got on the internet and went to look for customer service, Apple customer service. And I found it and I called. Well, it was Asian Indian dialect,
Mm.
which I said, well, a lot of call centers, they're using this. they're, and they they rope a dope me. I mean,
Mm.
uh, for one thing, they got $1,000 from me that we could not get back. And
Oh
then
my
my
gosh.
wife came in and she was listening. They wanted me to go to all these stores and get $250 gift cards, not tell anybody because this is going to help my security by just
Oh my.
a bizarre thing.
Hmm.
So after all this, and Lynn took charge of it all, we weren't able to get the money because I did an authorization with whoever it was. I use anyway.
Right.
It
I
was,
understand.
and
Yeah.
then talking to it was either Apple. I think I called Apple Security
Hmm.
or USA Security. One of them, they said, "Yep, this is going around.
Oh
People,
my.
the same thing is happening." But I used to tell my children and my wife and everybody about falling for these things. And
Right.
here I am. Oh yeah, $1,000. Oh yeah, I can walk to the store and get some, but it's going to take a while. Well, how long? Call us when you get there.
Right.
Don't tell anybody.
Oh my gosh. But there are lots of people out there that have fallen for those same tricks that don't even have dementia. So it's not solely just you. It's not just your Lewy body. There are people out there that just they're
Yeah,
good at they're
I,
they're they're good tricksters.
I understand. I understand, but being the
Well, with
train had
yeah,
and all that.
right. With your
No,
background, that's I'm sure a hard pill to swallow. With your background, that's a hard pill to swallow, I'm sure.
but that's a that's another, I don't
Hmm.
know, not a pointer, an example,
Right.
an example of uh, poor decision making. That if my family was right here, it could have spotted it right away and said, "Dad, hang up."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. So poor decision making. But it's interesting, don't you think, or I think that then you can go back after the fact and realize, completely understand that that wasn't, logical thinking, and see how it all occurred, even though at the time you couldn't see it and couldn't control it.
right?
It's fascinating.
Yep, the mind's
Yeah.
a fascinating thing.
Hmm.